Hello and welcome back to Gnomoria. When last we left off, I promised I'd get a few stockpiles set up, which I've done. I've also designated some walls to be mined to continue with the theme that we've got going elsewhere. Oh, a goblin has been spotted. A goblin I don't care about. Looks like our fields are being planted, which is very good news. I've also designated a couple of these things to be deconstructed. Now, the reason for that is I realized that I was wasting a lot of pine making crates that I didn't need. Even now, even though I'm deconstructing the ones up there, we're still going to run out. We're still going to have more than enough. Run out? That's exactly the opposite of what I wanted to say. Because when we've placed these, I mean, we're not going to have that many crates left needed. And yet we've got all of these crates up here and all of these barrels. It is going to... I mean, we're going to have lots of surplus, I guess, but we can't really store them anyway. Because unlike Dwarf Fortress, it doesn't consider them furniture, so it won't try to store them. Now, another thing I've done is I've generally gone through things... Well, that one should be 4. I've generally gone through things and set up a number of build orders. Now, each one of these should create 2, so I only need 2 of them to be done. This one can go up. I've set up some repeating build orders, but generally I've taken away the repeating ones like the workshop, the chisel, things like that. I figure I'm not going to have a need for them to be maintained, for a stock to be maintained, generally speaking. Same with doors. If I want a couple of doors, I'll make the doors. On that note, 1, 2, 3, 4 I'm going to need. So let's get that set up. You there, make me 4 doors. Stone Carver is making pet rocks. And generally speaking, things are starting to move on. Now, one other thing I've done is in the downtime, I've named a few gnomes. Now, let's have a look. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Trashy Bagels. You're a lumberjack. Urgle Puffs. You're a meatsmith. I a butcher. Let's have a look down. Fairly certain I had another. Sotoa the Penguin. You're another meatsmith. So that's 2 butchers. Actually. That meatsmith. Not metalsmith. I thought that's what it said. Damn it. I'll have to rename you later on or give you a different job. And where are you? 4 Fox. There you are. Farmer. So yes, for the time being, I'll just rename this. Well, no, you can stay as the meatsmith until I've got a soldier for you, or a miner or a blacksmith. So there we are. Unfortunately, we don't have enough nomads right now to fill out our military, so it's going to be a little while before we've got any new military gnomes. On that note, perhaps I should place some more statues up here. I don't know. Or do something, I guess, to increase the value of this room, perhaps. One thing I could do is I could replace walls. Yes, I think I'll go up and do that now. Replace wall. Let's have plank walls. As much as I want to make a bone dining room, we won't. We'll make birch plank walls. Like so. And that can go there. Like so. Now, if I want to replace that one, I'm unfortunately going to have to dig this away. So I'll get that done now. And this will go a little ways to increasing the value of our dining hall. Another goblin spotted, eh? Oh, there he is. They're not too much of a concern. Not for the time being, anyway. Especially with bears going around and fighting them. Now, Are there any mants? That is the question. I'm probably not going to be able to see them, even if there are. Unfortunately. Now, I've been looking at a couple of the things that have changed, specifically with the workshops. And, wow, there are so many different things now. Like, for example, the tailor's going to need straw. He's going to need strings. It's like, oh, so many different things I'm going to need to do. To make new beds, I'm going to need mattresses and bed frames. I've already covered bed frames, but wow. So once this kitchen is made, the next highest priority for us is going to be a bone carver, because we will absolutely need bones. And bone needles specifically to get our tailor up and running. That's alright. Now, looks like they're going to start production of the kitchen, which is excellent. So let's go ahead and queue up the bone carver. Where are you? I may have to have our meatsmiths do bone carving for a little while until we can get a dedicated person doing it. Right, they need a knife, table, and a chair. So we'll go ahead and place the bone carver there, and we'll queue up the things we're going to need. So I think there's going to be a chair available, but we're going to need another table, so that means 2 more sticks. Oh wait, let's be specific. We want... Oh, we're running out of pine planks. Have we got any pine logs? Let's check that, shall we? Wood logs. We do not, so fair enough then. This is going to be a very expensive table. We'll make it out of anything because it really doesn't matter. If we can't specify pine, then you may as well just let them make it out of whatever's to hand, because I don't think there's much of a difference in value between apple wood and birch. We've got the chair, so what we're going to need is a hilt. And we'll have one of those made. And then queue up the knife. A knife blade will be wanted, and a knife as well. So there we go. And already bones are being moved. That is good. That is very good news. Let's have a look up here. Actually, we can have our miners remove these ramps, please. They are unsightly and no longer needed. Now. Oh, well done. This will be a problem for our gnomes because these statues are in the way. So, let's go ahead and just deconstruct them for now. Just so that they can get in there and replace those walls. And while we're waiting on that, let's just check it out. 1,604. That's not bad. All for just the addition of a couple of bits of wood. There we go. Now that they've removed those two, well, deconstructed them rather, they haven't removed them. But as these are being deconstructed, our builders are able to queue up work by going to these locations. Now, where is our miner? What are they doing? We do have one. We've got a miner. And it's dwarf. What are you doing, dwarf? Where are you? Okay. You're in your 4-poster bed. Fair enough. Once you're done with that, you will probably be fighting fit and ready to go for like a whole season before you sleep again. Right. Let's just quickly check this. Now, this kitchen is already stopped because there's so much crap on the floor, unfortunately. But what we want them to do is quite simple. We want you to make sandwiches. Any sausage at all, any loaf of bread. But we want you to keep a stock of at least 100 sandwiches in the fort at any one time. I will go around at some point and specify very specific amounts based on what I can store. But for the time being, just get 100 of them. This is something I'm going to have to do sooner or later. Okay, that's going up. That's fantastic. Right, what's the next thing we want to do then? Butcher shop. Again, table, chair, knife. So let's queue this up. One butcher shop. And we'll have you there. So again, where are you? That can be cancelled. I want 2 sticks. Table. We are going to need a chair now. Let's go ahead. And a hilt. In fact, we may as well make enough for 2 of these because we know we're going to build 2. So we might as well just get all of this built up. And another 2 sticks and a table. There we go. And we'll queue up 2 knives. And we'll need 2 knife blades actually as well. So we'll just move those up. And there we are. That shouldn't take too long because we've got dedicated people working on these things. Right, now, bone carver. What can we do? We can have statuettes made out of bones. Wow, that would be an awesome use for our bones. We can make bone shirts. We'll need leather straps for that, so we can't. We can make skull helmets. That is fantastic. Because we really have no other use for the skulls. So, yeah, I think we need some skull helmets. How many people we got? We got 37 people in the fort. So, as a low priority, I want 50 skull helmets made. Oh, man. I don't want to have to go through this, but... that's 20, and we will leave it at that. I can see this is going to become a problem. No, sort that. That's just silly, filling up that thing with all that stuff. We'll stick that up in a minute. But we are going to need a bone needle, so go ahead and make that. And then just turn all the helmets in, all the skulls into helmets, I guess, because we have no other use for them. So we might as well just produce them. But as the lower priority in the list. That makes sense to me. Now we're going to want another door, so let's get that built. Where are you? Door. Stone doors. We'll place that there. Now then, we're going to be waiting on them to finish doing all of that. We've got a couple of crates wanting and a couple of bags. So let's head on up here and release a couple more of these things. So deconstruct 5 of those bags and also deconstruct all of those crates as well. Now, while we're waiting on that, yes, we're waiting on that to be built as well. Okay, let me just quickly check what that's going to require because we're going to want that done fairly quickly. 3 tables and 1 chair. Alright, let's get down here then. Alright, you're going to be busy for a little while. We want 1 extra chair. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 3 tables. Chop, chop. But there we are. That should be good for now. And let's go ahead and change the meatsmith profession to also do bone carving. Now, where will this be? Would it be under Misk? Misk Alanius. It's not Misk. There we go. That should be fine. There we are. So some of our meatsmiths now who don't have jobs to do are working in the bone carver. That's fantastic. We're going to change the priority though. We'll leave it at priority... Well, actually, priority 5 seems to be okay. We could leave it there. What priority are you? You're also priority 5. That's fine. We'll make you priority 2 then. So if you've got the materials to hand, you'll make Ooh, where's that going? That's going elsewhere. You will make the sandwiches over making more bread and sausages, so that's fine. Okay, that's good. They're moving things around. And our first butcher is being produced. Fantastic. Now let's hope that we can get this built before the merchant arrives. Yak skull helmet. Now, as I've mentioned, I believe I mentioned in the last episode anyway, we are going to be looking at producing a couple of squads, which will be set to militia so that our nomads, or rather regular gnomes and nomads, I guess, and civilians will be able to join the militias and we'll be able to force them to wear armor that way. And yes, I fully intend to tell our regular citizens to wear skull helmets. That will be part of their uniform. And it will be awesome. I am sure you agree. Now, we really need this to be built soon. Otherwise, we're going to miss out on the chance for a merchant, and that would be a dire shame. How close are you finishing? Oh, you're on your last sticks. Come on, chop chop. Okay, frenzy of activity down here. That's good. And loads of bones being moved around. Excellent. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. What just happened there? Magical has created a legendary loaf of wheat bread, and Tikimiak has created a legendary strawberry wine. Fantastic. Let's check these out, shall we? Okay, it's going to be named the Lone Profiteer. Well done. That is a legendary strawberry wine right there. Just wow. Let's see. Have we got anything? Is there an easy way for us to find this? Or do we literally have to go through these from now on? Let's just have a look. If we were to look at wines. No, we would just show that. Oh well, that's fair enough then. But our kingdom worth hasn't really changed. I mean, it's not going to change that much from a legendary wine, but whoever drinks that wine is going to be very, very, very happy. And exceedingly drunk. I'm making up the drunk bit, though that would be awesome, but they won't. It'll just mean they won't have to drink for a very long time again. Same with the loaf of bread, if someone were to eat that. Now, I don't know if it would pass on its properties to a sandwich made of it. That might simply lose the wine, which would be a shame. The bread, which would be a shame. But not much we can do. Hopefully they'll just make a legendary sandwich out of the legendary loaf of bread. Now then, the butcher's shop. We want to set this one up as a high priority. And I want you to automatically butcher corpses. Chop, chop. Literally. Chop, chop. Though, unfortunately, you can't make chops out of what you butcher. You only make slabs of meat, which inevitably get made into sausage, which is a dire shame, because I think an ogre chop would be quite delicious. All of these skull helmets going up there. Now, I don't know if you can actually get bones and skulls from enemies, which is a shame, because wearing an ogre skull helmet whilst fighting ogres would be kind of awesome, in my opinion, but apparently that is not on the cards yet. Maybe in the future, though. How close are we to getting this? I think we've already lost it. I don't believe that we will have had a trader this season, which is a shame. We really could have done with it. But worst thing have happened, I suppose. Now, we could go out there. There is an ogre over there. Let's check you out. It's a male. He's thirsty. And he hasn't got very good fighting skills. Wow. For an ogre, he's actually quite a poor specimen. I'm going to say that it would probably be in our best interest to get out there and beat him up. But first, let's get this sorted, shall we? We're going to go to build some soil walls, and we are going to flesh this out. I'm going to make them double thickness so that we can properly build the walls up. And thinking about it, I'm going to cancel that bit because we don't need it. But we are going to have to deconstruct you in order to get in there. Chop chop. That seems to be my word of the month today. Or word of the day today, better. Oh, it is far too early, I'm afraid. I haven't had the best sleep. And I am going to blame it for all of my tripping over words. Now, is anyone doing anything here? No? Okay. Well, that is a priority 2, and what is this? This is a priority 5. So, really, you should have swapped over. No? You don't want to swap over? That's a bit of a shame, because I really would like you to, honestly. Let's just double check. Yeah, you can do butchery. Maybe there are no corpses. Maybe they've all decayed. Have they all decayed? No, there are definitely corpses there. I don't understand. I am quite confused by this. But oh well, there's not much we can do about it. Right, well, there are a couple of goblins out there. Not too many. And the ogre. But there are a lot of nice things out there. So I'm actually really tempted to open the fort. And just go out there, wipe out all the enemies that are there at the moment, and then retreat. Is this set to automatically? Yeah, it is. I'm really not sure what's going on with that. But, oh no, there is a job queued there, so I can only imagine they're going to get to that soon. But in the meantime, let me just check my stocks of bandages, because if we don't have many, then I'm not going to open the fort. Come to think of it. We've got 7 bandages. Okay, we're not going to bother. We will wait until we've got our loom and tailor back up. And on that note, let's check what we need to do there. So for a loom, we need a chair and a loom. Okay. What do we need for a loom? I assume we build it at the carpenters. A loom, you need 4 sticks and 4 planks. Okay. Go ahead and make a loom. And before that, make 4 sticks. Yeah, 4 sticks. So I don't think you really need to move them up. Basically, he'd look at the loom and be like, well, I can't make a loom because I don't have 4 sticks. Is there anything else that I'm tasked to do? And would see that he's tasked to make some sticks, which he would be able to make, so he would default to making those. We're going to let that happen, and while that's going on, we will set up the loom. Now the loom is going to be here, with stockpiles for cotton fiber and wool fiber. And here we will have the tailor, and then finally the leather worker over here. Now what I've done with the leather worker is I've got a stockpile for any type of hide except ogre, and then an overflow for that. And then 2 stockpiles for only ogre hides, because ogre hides are incredibly good as leather armor. They have an extremely high resistance to various forms of damage, and are just generally the best thing to use. Apparently later on you can get a 2-headed ogre, otherwise known as an etin, and they would be the best sort of leather that you could use for any particular task. I don't know how yak leather versus alpaca leather. I don't know which of those is the best. It'd be interesting to know that. So if anyone happens to know, please do pass on the information in the comments. Because it'd be quite useful to know whether there's any point in keeping the yaks because they happen to produce better leather, for example. Now, I'm going to create a pasture for the... Oh, not for the goblins, for the yaks. just to get them out of the way for now. So go ahead, go and drag a yak in there, please, someone. What about you? Is this set up correctly? No. We want one male and one male only. And the moment that there's a yak in there, I'm going to set this one up. And again, one male only. And we should be good with that. Now, have all of these crates been filled with various things? Yes, unfortunately. That is a shame. Okay, let's deconstruct some more of these. And go ahead and build more storage over here. Anything we can do to try and store all these skull helmets we're making. Okay. Okay, we've got our loom. Right, let's have a look at this. Right, looms, as before, can only make bolts. And we can store 32 of each type. So we're going to set up first a craft order for 10. We want to keep these made. We want a constant supply of bolts on hand for making primarily bandages. So 10 cotton bolts, 10 wool bolts, and we'll have one for, oh, I better set that up first. 20 cotton bolts, and then 20 wool bolts. That gives us 30, and we can store 64. So finally another 34. And the same for wool. And that should be fine. That should more or less cover everything we could possibly use it for. So let's click off that. And just scroll down here. Just make sure that I'm producing the right amounts. Yeah. Okay. Now, the next thing then will be a tailor's. And this is the really important one. So, what do we need for that? We need one table, one chair, and one bone needle. We have the table, we have the bone needle, we need one chair. That's fantastic. Rotate that around a bit. So, carpenter, please be carpenting a chair for us. Now, as we've noticed, because of the way we've got specialist jobs now, the woodworker should be down here fairly quickly, I imagine. There we go. And we'll quickly craft us a chair, and the moment we've got that, we should have a tailor soon after. This has significantly improved the speed of building all of this. There we go. It's already being constructed, and I mean, did someone just nick the table? Oh. Whoever was building the tailors must have decided, I need to sleep, or I need to drink, or I need to do something other than my job. Whatever that may be. So it was redesignated. Now, that would be one thing I would love them to do here, is to make it so that if a workshop needed materials, that it was just like a stockpile task. So, like, if it needed 10 different materials, then 10 different gnomes could go gather those materials, and each one just deliver one item. That would make things so much easier. And also that it would be stored like a stockpile item. So if someone stops building it, it doesn't immediately free up everything that was there. Now we've got this finally. And it looks like people are actually starting to stockpile some straw. Or at least they're going to soon. Because that is green. That's excellent. Now, we can make mattresses. These are some of the new things. And for that, we'd need string and straw. We can make string. We can make padding, which requires any type of fiber. Oh, wow. So we actually need raw cotton or raw wool. Fair enough. I'll probably change some of our stockpile permissions then. bandages require cloth and bag requires cloth and string, so it's a little bit more involved now. But it has hit the 30-minute mark, so with that, I'm going to wind this episode down. Whoa, Duckman, why did you pass out? That's not good. But before I do that, I'm just going to tell the Silvery Lurkers of Battle to chill out for a bit. On the topic of people passing out, they are probably due some downtime. So, with that done, this episode has mostly been catching up on the things that I've set up off screen. The workshops, well, rather the stockpiles, and then building the workshops to make use of them. But in the next episode, we will probably set up the production of bandages again. Once we've done that, we are probably going to send out our troops. If there is still an ogre alive out there somewhere, we will go and find it, and we will try to kill it. Doesn't look like it's died. Hopefully, our gnomes will continue to make legendary meals and drinks, which will keep the rest of our gnomes satiated and satisfied, and generally getting back on top of things. Once we've got the leather worker built, we will almost be back to where we were before I made the update. And in fact, I would say that we're in a better position, honestly. Things are moving a lot more smoothly. Now, while you're away, well, you're not really going to be away, but off screen, I mean, seriously, I am so tired, I'm just tripping over my words. It's hard enough for me anyway, since I'm having to translate what I'm wanting to say into English before saying it. When I get tired, yeah, it really does start to show. I do apologize. But off screen, what I intend to do is set up our population into militia squads. So we're going to end up with dozens of squads. Each one full of just basic gnomes. They're going to be set to perform regular duties, so the militia squad perk. And their uniform will probably just be skull helmets, probably leather, because leather doesn't slow them down like regular armor. Though I might look to actually make skull breastplates, things like that. And if I do, then I'll assign that. So they might have leather gloves, leather boots, but skull, or rather bone breastplates and skull helmets. So yeah, it might look like our fort is peopled by skeletons, which will be kind of funny. But I won't be giving them weapons because pretty much they'll be expected to just pick up their regular tools. So all of that in the next episode. Thank you for joining me for this one. I hope you've not been too bored whilst we've been progressing, but it has been kind of fun to watch how much faster everything gets built now, especially like the moment I set things up in the carpenter, bam, it's already built. And the buildings, the workshops, go up pretty quickly, which is refreshing, considering how hard it was to get them to do any work before. But in the next episode then, we will get to it and get our militias properly equipped. Until then, do take care.